Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Has-Beens podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Skylar.
I'm Holland.
What's up? It's Adam.
And it's Holden.
And today we are also joined by a special guest from WCYB, Kristen Quon. Kristen Quon. Welcome, Kristen. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Summer Wells case, which we've covered a little bit before on our podcast here. But we're going to talk about it a little more in depth with Kristen. So, Kristen, I want to start off just on, can you tell us kind of what you guys have learned from authorities and the family about what happened on the night Summer went missing?
Right, so this all started back in June. I believe it was June 15th, and that is when her parents reported her missing. They called police, said that she was missing from their home, which is in the Beach Creek area of Hawkins County, really close to the Sullivan County line. And in that time, police came out, obviously started searching for her, could not find her, and then the days following that, it became a massive search to try and find Summer. So multiple agencies on the scene for about a week, just scanning everything by the air, by water, all on the ground, the area there, just to find anything about what happened to her.
What have authorities, and I want to go with one more question, what have authorities said that they so far have found out from the parents, and what have they found any evidence at all that points to anything that's happened to Summer?
So the parents were interviewed, of course, initially about what happened to her. The story that was told was Don Wells, her father, was not at home at the time. Candace Wells, her mother, was at the house at the time. She said that she was planting flowers with her grandmother. And at some point, Summer went into the home and down into the basement, which is where she sleeps. And they went to look for her and couldn't find her. So that has kind of been the story from the parents. As far as law enforcement goes, they did release information that they were looking for a Toyota Tacoma, either red or maroon in color, with a ladder rack in the back of the truck. But as far as any other information, they say right now they have no idea as far as if any foul play was suspected. They don't believe that any foul play was suspected. They don't know if she was abducted. They really have no idea what happened to her.
So we know authorities have said no evidence of abduction. The parents are claiming she was abducted on multiple media interviews. And then we also have a possible polygraph test taken by the parents. Have you guys confirmed anything with authorities about a polygraph?
We did ask the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation that early on. They were pretty vague with the response, but that's just be suspected. They've pretty much said that they have used everything in their power in order to find Summer. And they do have polygraph tests. So it would be my belief that she was polygraphed, that the whole family was given a polygraph test. But as far as from official sources, they've never released the actual details of that part of the investigation.
All right, I'm going to ask one more, then I'll let the others go. Now, the three boys, they were taken from the home. Her three brothers were taken from the home probably about, I'm thinking, 2 months into all of this investigation. Did they release information why they were released from the home at all?
They did not, to my knowledge. Children cases are very, very, it's hard to release information like that. Obviously, there's protection when it comes to juveniles. So there was never really a reason why they were taken from the home, but we do know that the three boys that were also in the Wells custody are no longer with them.
All right, Holland, do you want to go? Do you have anything?
Yes. So, like Skylar said, her three brothers, were they the very last person who saw them? Like, were they in the basement with her? Like, where were they in the house?
I'm actually not 100% sure where the boys were at the time. I'm not sure if they were. I think what Don Wells said, if I remember correctly, is that one of them is actually saw Summer before she left the house. He was like one of the last people to see Summer before she left. I'm not sure about the other two boys, but I think one was I think from what I remember, they were playing video games inside the house, so they might have been a little distracted.
Yeah. So another question is like, has like I know it's very rare for like, I don't know, it's not very common for like a girl that young to like wander off, but like had she wandered off into the woods before, or is this like the first time they'd ever like had problems with that? Like,
So I did talk to Don a little bit about that when I interviewed him back in the summer. They live in a really interesting spot. Their house is actually located on a pretty big hill. So no one's really around them. They have neighbors, but if you were to go up their driveway, you go up a windy driveway and their house sits on top of this hill. It's really steep. And we sat there on top of the hill. He kind of showed me the property. And he said, he showed me the line where Summer would probably go to, like where she would walk, where she would stand to. And it was, you could see it clearly, just a few feet away. And so he said that she would never wander off from the property like that she would stay pretty close to the home, and that she knew to stay pretty close to the home. But they were outside a lot. They did play outside a lot. So it's hard to tell.
yeah. I think another question I have is, so do they mainly think that she just like got up and like walked out, or do they think someone came in the house and like took her?
Police have never said anything about either way, but the Wells family has been adamant that they think that she was abducted.
I think that's all my questions. So Holden or Adam, if you have any more questions, go ahead.
I'm not a big question guy.
Adam, do you have
I just came onto this. I just heard about this like last week, and I haven't looked too far into it. So
yeah.
That's what you get when you take a trip to New York without us.
Yeah, you go to New York. Yeah.
I mean, like I remember whenever this case first got like public and everything, it was all over the place, and I haven't heard like anything about it in like 2 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the really frustrating thing for a lot of people. It's frustrating for the community. It's frustrating for, I mean, just everyone, really. I mean, I think everyone wants to know what happened to her. It's such a strange case, and it's strange to kind of have absolutely nothing it seems to go off of. So I think, people are wanting closure, just like you are, and it's hard because there's no really new details to release. The latest thing was last week they did go back out and search the area some more to try to find anything, try to find maybe evidence, but nothing turned up from that search either. So I guess we just keep waiting and see what police come up with.
You mentioned the community, and I wanted to touch on that for a minute because, within the past year and a half, this is the second really big missing child case, big Amber Alert case for Sullivan and Hawkins County along. You've had this case and the Evelyn Boswell case, which you covered as well. How has the community been dealing with, these two big cases and some people calling them tragedies within the past just year and a half now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the toughest thing too, especially when you're talking about little children, because we can all attach onto little children, and obviously innocence plays into it a lot. You never want to see something bad happen to anybody, but especially a child. So I think it's been really difficult. I think I will say with the Evelyn Boswell case, there is a sense of closure with that case, even though we don't know the full story and we don't have a full ending to that story yet. At least there was a little bit of closure for the community, whereas this one's a lot harder sometimes because we don't have any idea of what happened to Summer.
Another question here. So are the parents, I know the brothers, they're taken away from the family, but is the family still living in the same house, or is that boarded off?
Yes, they still live there at this time.
And now, like, in different media stations, like, that want to go back and revisit the case, I know now the parents are just, like, cutting everyone off from their property. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I think to a sense they've always been a little bit weary of media coming to their property. I think as anybody would. I think it's just sometimes depends on the day, to be honest. But I wouldn't say it's closed off necessarily. I mean, you can still go up and talk to them. In my experience, they've always been willing to speak with me. Not always on camera, but they are willing to speak with me. So I wouldn't say necessarily they're closed off 100%. I just think that the amount of attention this case has received has been kind of difficult for them and their family.
I want to talk about the Dr. Phil show for a minute that they went on, and where the behavior panel on the show was interviewing both Don and Candace together, and then Candace kind of just walked off the show kind of abruptly when one question was asked. Did the family release anything on that you know of?
Not that to my knowledge. I haven't heard anything from the Dr. Phil show or anything like that. I have not spoken to them. Every time I've spoken with the Wells family, it was before any of that happened. So I really don't have a lot of info on that.
All right, Holden, did you have anything?
I think I just have one question, maybe more relates to, if she was abducted, what would have been like the most key point to get to her?
What do you mean by that?
Like, since she was like in the basement, were there like any like doors that they could have easily accessed? Was there like a downstairs garage?
Okay, so yeah, the way that their house is kind of laid out, there is a door that leads, I guess, to the outside from the basement. So Dawn's idea is that she went out that door, the back door, if that helps any.
Yeah. Do you
All
have
right.
anything, Adam?
Does
Yeah.
the family have any like suspects or anyone that like they think took her, like, or do they think it's just a random person, or do they believe it's like a family member or something?
Right, so that was like actually one of the first questions that I asked Dawn is there anybody that you think could have taken her, and are you involved with any people that might be willing to take a child or anything like that? You know, are you involved with any shady people, to be honest, this could possibly happen? And he told me no. So
All right, I want to talk about Don for a minute because I personally know that, and you know, he has a lengthy criminal history, and actually just about a month or two ago, he was actually arrested again for a DUI. What do you know about Don's criminal history, and then this recent arrest as well?
I know about the DUI that happened a few months ago. It was stated that he went out to get some cigarettes and went off the road and kind of hit a ditch, and then he was arrested for DUI. As far as his criminal history before this and before summer, I know some stuff happened when they were living in Utah. I think maybe some domestic violence situations, but to be honest, Don has always been open about those kind of things. The DUI, I think he's been open with struggling with the fact that his child is missing. And then he did briefly discuss with us before the incident in Utah. So I don't know a whole lot of information about that as far as like the domestic violence situation or anything like that. He just told me at that time he was just in a place in his life where he was struggling a lot. So I think the reasoning is just that's what they think. They think that she would have never wandered off. So because she would have never wandered off, she must have been abducted.
So we talked about Dawn. Does Candace, as you know of, have any like criminal history in the past?
I'm not sure about Candace. To be completely honest, I've not really ever spoken with Candace very much. Normally I speak with Dawn whenever I've done stories on Summer Walls. I've met Candace maybe once or twice, but she's never spoken with me. So.
And has Dawn or anything? Because Candace hasn't really talked to not just you, but not really a lot of media. Had Dawn kind of explained her silence at all? Why is she staying so silent?
Yeah, I think, from the beginning, he's been very clear that she's just been kind of overwhelmed with the amount of hate that she's received on social media, because she was pretty vocal towards the beginning about Summer and, please help them find her daughter and things of that. And she kind of went silent for a while just because I think so many people, as you know, can be pretty hateful online.
And I go ahead.
No, sorry, Skylar, go ahead.
I wanted to touch on that social media aspect for just a second, because what has the sheriff, the TBI, I know the FBI is involved in this too, what have they said about social media involvement?
So I think that the most frustrating thing for law enforcement, and I don't want to say maybe the most frustrating, because I think maybe the most frustrating thing is just obviously they want to find Summer. But something that has hindered their investigation has just been the social media rumors that have gone on online. So obviously there's a tip line. If you have any information about Summer, any credible information, you're asked to call that tip line. And I think the tip line has been flooded with just rumors that people see online, people that are on YouTube with their speculations, and they're calling into that tip line as legitimate, credible tips, which they're not. And of course, when they receive a tip like that, every tip has to be vetted, every tip has to go through. So it has bogged down the investigation. So I think it's frustrating for law enforcement to feel like they're constantly having to go through these tips and it's not really getting them anywhere. So they still want people to call into the tip line, of course, if you have credible information about Summer.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, was because, all over social media, it must be really hard for the family because, your child is missing and you have people accusing you of stuff whenever, and starting rumors about stuff. And then also with the tip line, flooding them with rumors, that takes it away from the actual investigation.
Right. And I think, I will say in my years of journalism, I think that this case has been probably the craziest as far as the social media goes. People are reading into every tiny little detail. It's become pretty wild, to be honest.
Have authorities said, especially at the beginning, was the parents being really cooperative with them, especially with doing certain things like the polygraph test that they possibly could have taken?
Yeah, they have. Police have said that from the beginning, that they've been cooperative, and every time they've asked them to come down and give interviews, that they have been willing to come down and give those interviews. So from the beginning, we've been told that the family has been pretty cooperative.
So I know the sheriff has been saying that there's really no new information from now, which we're about 6 months in, coming up on the 15th, from June. And with your experience, I know you have some experience in law enforcement. How is that frustrating for law enforcement, having no new information in really a 6-month time period?
I can say from working at a sheriff's department before, those officers there are doing everything possible to find Summer. Things that you probably haven't even thought of. And if you have thought of them, then most likely police have thought of those things too. So I think that it's super frustrating probably for them to have done all these things and still not have a lot of information. But I also think that there is a certain amount of information that they obviously are not going to release to the public about the case too. And so all those things factor in as well. But I really do think that they're doing their best to try to figure something out. And hopefully, you know, all we can do is hope that some tip will come in and we'll find where she is.
So you talked. Oh, go ahead, Holly.
Okay, I said with new leads, like with no leads, like at all anymore. Do they know like what they're going to try and do? Like, do they have any idea of the next step in trying to find her or proceed the investigation?
Well, it reminds me too, they've never said that this is a case that's grown cold, right? So that means that tips are still coming in. So they're still looking at things, still going through things. You know, again, they had crews out again last week searching. So I think that they still are working this case actively. So to say maybe that there's absolutely nothing is probably not the case. It would be a good thing, though, to probably get an updated number on how many tips are coming through and how many tips have come since the beginning, since when she disappeared in June. Because a couple months ago, I think maybe the 3 months, it was close to 1,000 tips. So, yeah, so by now, there's probably even more than that. But, again, they have not said that the case has grown cold and that they have absolutely nothing, so...
So I want to touch, you talked about the ground search from last week. Just want to touch on that quickly. What did the TBI, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, what did they say, like, the reasoning was for going back out there to do that search? Because it was kind of unexpected and no one really knew it was coming, at least in the public.
Right, exactly. Well, you know, I think that they do that on purpose too, you know, in a lot of instances. So I think they're just looking for anything right now, you know. They're looking for evidence. They're looking for anything that they possibly can to help them in the investigation.
All right, and you mentioned earlier the red Toyota pickup truck. Have authorities said how they think that person could be involved in this case at all? Because they really released the truck details and said nothing else from what I've heard.
Right, that's pretty much it. I mean, they said that that truck was last seen in the Beach Creek area, and that if anybody has information to contact them, they know who drives it, or the driver, to contact police. But that's pretty much all the information that we've had about the red truck, and no one has come forward since then.
I think that's what gets me, that no one, like if the red truck, if they was in the Beach Creek area, but they aren't involved, why hasn't, you know, someone came forward at all? So that was kind of my thing. And you talk about the red truck, authorities are still looking for it, correct?
Correct, yes. You know, and you have to, you know, in some ways too, I don't want to speculate because I don't know for sure, but police could have received that information from somebody else. That person saw that red truck, may or may not, you know, so it could have come from another person per se, and that's why they're searching for it. It's difficult to say about the red truck, but they're still looking for it. So.
Have any neighbors came out? Did they hear or see anything within maybe an hour and a half before the disappearance or leading up to it?
The neighbors that I spoke with that were around the area of Beach Creek had not seen her. I did talk to a few neighbors who were, you know, checking cameras and things like that, but hadn't seen her.
So really, I mean, if you really think about it, basically right now all we know is she just vanished.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Nothing.
Were there any... Sorry.
No, go ahead, Holly.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, I said, trying to answer a question in the chat. Were there any cameras or ring cameras or anything of that sort, like, around the area at all?
So from the beginning at the search, that was one of the things that the TBI said over and over is for residents that live in that area to check any kind of cameras that they had, trail cameras, ring cameras, things like that. And then later on, they did say that every camera that was in that area, they did check. So,
was there any evidence, like, or anything, like, anything suspicious from those cameras or anything?
nothing that we have been released at this point.
And the TBI, and I'm going back to police for just a second, but they was holding news conferences basically, I think it was daily, if not it was like every other day when this first started. And then they kind of slacked off on that. Now they're doing nothing. The command post that was in Hawkins County, it's been gone for probably a good now 5 months. Do they plan to at any point in time reinstate that command post in Hawkins County or give any kind of media update that you know of?
No, not at this time, I don't think. I think that they would put another command post up if it was needed. But, I mean, they scoured that area and looked at every place that they possibly could in that area the first week they were out there. And at some point, your resources start to die down. You don't have the manpower, you don't have the money to do those sorts of things. I mean, you cannot sustain a search like they did for months and months and months. So, I'm not sure. It's hard to really say if they'll ever do that again. And if it's up to the sheriff, what he wants to release and what he doesn't. So we kind of wait and see what he wants to do. We continue to make calls to him though and email him and see if there's any news that he can give us. But
Has there
so far nothing.
Has there been like any hints, and I'm just wondering this myself, that maybe like charges could be placed on anyone in connection to the case, because I mean multiple people's wondering that because nothing has been said from anyone.
Yep, no charges yet so far. So.
All right. Anyone else have anything? All right, Kristen. Thank you for your time. We know you have to get going, so thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. You asked some really great questions, and if you ever have any more, give me a call.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 And we can kind of continue a discussion now. I'm going to answer a chat question because I know this one without asking. Yes, there was bodies of water around the area, and they have been searched. From what I know, even last week there were dive teams out, or not even 2 weeks ago. The search she alluded to that was very recent. There has been search teams out there, and they have dive teams, and they have been searched. So now we can kind of discuss this case. We can throw a little bit of our speculation, if we want to, into this now.
Yes.
We couldn't really. Kristen couldn't, but we can throw a little bit if we want.
Yeah. So I know that you said that they were not willing to do that, but like, I don't know. Cause like, there's so many rumors about this case. Cause like, I've read a bunch of rumors, and like, I try to say like unbiased on stuff. So I read like both sides to it, and like, both sides are completely believable. But the rumors on this case are just so insane. Like, I don't know. Just there's a difference in like there's a difference in saying like what we're doing. Like these are speculations. Like this isn't facts. None of this is like proof or anything. But
Yeah.
like
The facts portion of this episode was the first 30 minutes.
yeah,
You want the
all
facts,
this is gonna
first
be
30 minutes. And the
Yeah.
reason I got Kristen on here was to separate fact from rumor. Because that's really what I wanted to do, separate fact from rumor, because we want to make sure that viewers, anyone, isn't,
Yeah.
this guy.
Don't
Actually.
mistake our speculations and our reviewing over rumors as fact. That's not what this is.
Yeah. Like a lot of people like create rumors and then they're like, oh yeah, but this is stone cold. Like I'm like, but is it though? Like
Yeah.
I personally won't speculate on parents' involvement or who was involved. Because I mean, that's the stuff I feel like not to speculate on, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have to imagine how hard it must be for them, because, like, I don't know. I don't care if you think that they have some involvement or not. Just the chance that they don't, and people are accusing them of that. Like, can you imagine being a parent of a kid that you like care deeply about, and they go missing, and then you get accused?
Now, if a body is found in a spot they are known to,
No,
different, we kind of get into different circumstances on that speculation,
Yeah.
because then, I mean, it's not fact, but it's kind of evidence.
I mean, and it's not all that like I don't know. It's not that all uncommon. Do you know how many like disappearance, like just like out in the middle of in the public that people just disappear from and they're abducted? So it's entirely possible, but there is some doubt, which is understandable.
I mean, but her being, in my opinion, her being abducted on the hill,
Yeah.
that they live on, the chances really, I mean, in my opinion, someone going up the hill without being seen, getting her and getting down, the chances
Yeah.
are slim to none. And if you guys have questions still in the chat, you guys can ask them, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. If I have to text Kristen,
Knows more about this case than any of us. So
and if I
I
have to text Kristen, I will. You know what? Now I can talk about the scanner out here and my speculation on it.
I have a question.
The
Okay,
what?
go.
Go ahead. What's your question, Adam?
I myself have a question
Yes,
that I
Adam.
didn't think of earlier, and it's mainly from my inexperience with the case, current inexperience with the case, and mainly from my lack of research on the case. Well, when was this? Oh wait, we don't know that yet though. Do we have like, any idea on when she left?
Yeah, June 15th was when she was reported missing,
Yeah.
and that's when the parents say they last saw
Or
her.
like the time?
6:30 was around 6:30, approximately 6:30 was the 911 call. I learned about, I was actually in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina when this happened. And the news alerts, because, I've got the local news apps on my phone, involved with reporters, news alerts of the case of a missing child came across my phone at probably about 8 o'clock. Alright, by 11 o'clock midnight that night, my phone went off with the news apps went off with an endangered child alert. About 11 o'clock the next morning, they all went off again. It was upgraded to an Amber Alert, and that happened on June 16th, and we're still here, same spot, with nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask her, have we moved forward with the case at all? Which I know we have in like little tiny bits, but we haven't made like a big discovery yet.
Yeah,
there's been no really developments, tiny developments.
No, there's been no major like news or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, especially since where this case was so like public and literally everyone knew. Like whether you watched the news or not, you still knew who Summer Wells was.
It was on social media, it was on billboards, it was on anything you saw in this region. It was there.
Exactly. Yeah. So if there was new, like major information, I feel like it would be broadcasted. Like it wouldn't be something secret.
It would probably be the like breaking news things that they like interrupt the game with.
Yeah.
Alright, well look, if you were in Tennessee or your phone pinged off of a Tennessee cell phone tower, your mobile device that everyone carries went off. If you have not found a way to turn your WIA alerts off. Yes, there's a way in your settings, and I don't recommend you do that. That's for another episode.
Turn it off. Do not recommend it.
Nope, especially for Saturday if you're in our region. Possibly Saturday morning, not freaking anyone out, but that's for another episode if something does happen on Saturday. Follow my Instagram for more information.
There's a question in the comments. It says, with that well, I'm going to read the comment. With that being said, it would be so difficult, and also, like, when you mentioned the Dr. Phil show on the show, when they mentioned the cornbread mafia, the mother became hysteric. Do we have any clue why?
That's kind of why I prompted the question about the Dr. Phil show. But here's what I also know about the Dr. Phil show. It airs on a competing station that Kristen works with. So I didn't want to get too deep into that with her. But yeah, the Dr. Phil show, the Cornbread Mafia, she became hysteric. The behavior panel that was interviewing her thought that was interesting. Dr. Phil thought that was interesting. And
Yeah.
Candace came out, from what I heard, Candace had said something about, oh, it was because we had just got a tip that Summer might have been seen in a state south of Tennessee, and when they mentioned that, it was like losing her all over again with all the questions they were asking or something.
Yeah,
It was some
no.
dumb part, in my opinion. This is an opinion right here, guys. It was some dumb statement.
Your opinion.
Okay.
With Skylar.
It was some 15-minute, and it wasn't video statement, but it was text scrolling for 15 minutes on their YouTube channel. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did not sit there and watch the entire 15 minutes and try to read that. I wasn't doing that. That was too much. That'd been too much.
Now, I'm going to add on to what you said with the Dr. Phil thing. And I don't want to say that she was acting, that the mother was acting in this moment, but you need to, like, I don't think you should ever really look too much into real, like, live reactions, because some live reactions can be exaggerated on TV. Sometimes they could tell you to exaggerate them.
Yeah, especially on Dr. Phil, though. Like, that show, everything they do is dramatized. Like, the people have come out and been like, oh, none of that stuff actually happened. He just told me
But here's the thing. She came out and said, yes, I pulled my microphone off and I walked out of the interview crying. She came out and said she'd done that when the question was prompted. There isn't really, in my opinion, a legit reason why she done that. She said, oh, it's because we got this tip. It was like losing her all over again when they started asking all these hard questions. That's what she said. I don't know. You guys can speculate on it. But.
And again, do I
watch the Dr. Phil show on a normal basis? No, I agree. Dr. Phil show can sometimes be over-exaggerated.
Yeah, it's over-exaggerated a lot.
Yeah.
It can be over-exaggerated a lot of the times, and that's mainly because it's a media source, right?
Yeah.
And it's ultimately meant for entertainment, and that's more interesting than...
Yeah, like...
But Candace and Don also came out and said, yes, this happened.
Yeah.
So
take it as you will, but I suggest that you don't look too much into it.
Wait, so I know kind of your theory, Skylar, and what you believe. What? Okay, I get it that, like, you know, it would be very hard for somewhere to be taken.
We're pulling up pictures of the property real quick. Hang on a minute.
Okay, please, because I was honestly going to ask you for that, because I was like, I want to see the property. Like, I honestly don't know, because I totally see both sides. But it is weird, like, because the way the property has been described in every single source is that there is, like, no chance that she could have been taken without being seen.
Alright, I'm going to try to share my screen here. I don't know how well this is going to work with...
No, so it's around 6:30, right?
Yeah, let me see how this is working. See,
actually, no, wait, so
hang on a second.
Scott,
this is in June. And now this is in June, early summer. It's expected.
Open the document on a separate tab.
Alright, I got it. I got everything up. Alright, so they can see it on stream. Y'all can see it, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
This right here is the property. This picture right here. This is from News Channel 5 Nashville. This is where this picture's from. That's the property, okay? Right here, this big circular driveway. They're saying she went down, I believe it's that trail or that, there's the camper that they were at planting flowers and that Candace was at when she went missing. They're saying she either went down that trail right there, I think that's the trail. Someone came up that trail, parked at the end of the road, came up, walked up that trail, got to the basement door, and took her right back to, took her right down the basement. Hang on. This is from WATE. This right here is your basement door, okay? So this is your basement door.
That's really close to the camper.
Yeah. So I'm going to compare that. So that's right down on the bottom side here. So right around here is that basement door, y'all. That she went, supposedly the abductor, according to the parents, they think took her out this door, down the trail. Because there's like a dog trail there. Supposedly dogs sniffed her scent down the trail and had a cold stop when they got to the road. So, parents' theory of what happened. Someone walked up, got her from the basement, went down back the trail, put her in a car, and swoosh, gone right out there.
Okay, wait. So there was her 3 brothers that were in the house playing video games. Her mom and her grandmother were in the camper planting flowers, right?
I can show you the flower pot, too. That was right here. So this is from WJHL. This was the flower pot. Right here. These are the flower pots they were planting flowers in. Okay. Now, this is an aerial view of the property from Times News. Here are some of the woods that was being searched. Right here, this is from Kingsport Times News.
Okay, so here's my question. Well, if you would know the answer, how long did they estimated this like dog route that they are saying that the abductor climbed up? Like, is it like a mile hike up the hill, or is it like just a foot jog up the hill?
I don't think it's that long. I mean, so we're going to look at this real quick from Missing Persons of America. They're saying the car was parked here, okay, along Beach Creek. The basement door would be, I think, right around here. You get her, you take her down what they are saying is a little trail down through here, and you're parked right here along Beach Creek Road, which is Highway 347 right here. So you can see it's not that long.
A viewer asked, why would they walk up it when they don't know if they could even get anyone or anything? They would have had to know the layout of the house and the family's roots.
Alright, I'm sorry. Here comes a theory. Don and Candace say, we don't know anyone suspicious to Kristen. Okay? It's what Don told Kristen. Alright. Then, Don Wells, just 2-3 weeks ago, went and told Brian Enton with News Nation that while Candace had some friends and then would not go any further. We know they've been involved in drugs before, most likely. We're about 99.9% sure of that. Sorry, they do have friends. They used to party. They admitted that on an interview. And there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share. I am going to get up the Zoom back in.
That would make sense though. Like if they were,
Sorry, guys.
like if they were
Alright, there we
involved
go.
in like, yeah, if they were involved in like drug stuff, like, and if, especially if they were like friends with people there, then they would have came to the house and would have known the layout.
Alright, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to go look up.
Yeah, because you would have had to know the layout of the property.
What I'm doing here is this is popping up on screen. I need to get that off screen. Okay, sorry. We are going to go inside Summer Wells' home with Chris. I'm going to get his last name because I forgot it. This is the interview room. This is from the interview room. This is from Chris McDonough. I just butchered that last name. But we are going to go inside the Wells home here. I'm going to skip to the part where they go inside. This is taking the audio out of it. But this is from the interview room. So this is inside the home. I'm going to put it full screen right here. And then I'm going to get it onto the Zoom. I'm going to share my screen again. Sorry, this is a little bit of a process. And then we are going to take it on here. Alright, we are not going to air any of the audio, but this is Summer Walk and Chris McDonough with the interview room. Their logo is top right of your screen. And this is them walking inside the Wells home. This is the only room, this is the only video I have seen from inside the Wells home. This is from back in July, a month after Summer Wells went missing. See, they do have some dogs, okay? But what's going to shock you, and this is going to explain, this right here will explain, when we go inside this house, will explain why the boys were taken. This house is not suitable for kids at all. You've seen this. This looks okay, okay? Let's be honest, it looks okay. It's a little iffy in my opinion. But it's okay. We're going to go
Other than the Confederate, sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
Now,
anything.
this is where you get a big, huge mess. Holland's face, y'all can't see Holland's face on the stream. But
Like, my room's bad, but not that bad.
yeah,
Man.
I
My
know.
room's
So
hot.
this is clutter. But just wait, we ain't to the end of it yet. We've not got to the base. We've not got to see how they get to the basement. So, so here's what Candace right now is telling Chris McDonough with the interview room. Kristen couldn't say she knew for sure. The three boys were over here near the TV, and I'm acting like I'm pointing at it, and I can't even point at it for y'all. But was setting up, they were sitting over there near the TV on their computers, tablets, whatever she said, and they was watching TV, okay? That's what she said they were doing. So when Summer comes in, what she said, she walked Summer in the door, said, boys watch Summer. All right, well, supposedly, and she goes back out to help the grandma with the knee brace or whatever. And supposedly the boy says Summer goes downstairs to play with her toys. Now you're going to see the downstairs and how they get downstairs in a second. We might not be to that part of the video yet. We might go out and back in. I don't know. Yes, okay. I'm just going to have to skip through. Oh, no. This is what I need. So, here she is. She's taking him down to the basement, okay? So, you have to get back behind us where the TV is, and you have to, go in this counter and go down the stairs to get to the basement. This is the weirdest thing I've ever saw, okay? So, Chris is not really wanting to go down there, okay?
Well, yeah, I would have a table that opened up to my basement.
I mean, that's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of cool, but it's also kind of suspicious, in my opinion, okay? Because the basement is where Summer slept.
Oh.
It says that. So, okay,
Yeah.
so you go down through here, right?
Narrow. That is really narrow.
Yeah, that's narrow. That's why you didn't want to go down there, Chris. That's why Chris did not want to go down. So, he gets down here, he's to the basement, and Don and Candace sleep on one side of the basement. Okay, and then, so that side where the TV was, okay, was where Dawn and Candace is. This is Summer's area, where her toys was, this is her bedroom, right here. This is Summer's bedroom. So you're seeing this play out, and then we'll get to back to the chat here in just moments. But this is from the interview room, Chris McDonough. This is the video we're showing you. We have not got access inside the home, and to be honest with you, I would not want to go inside this home. It's as nasty as it is. So there's that. There's her bedroom. There's kind of like is that a taped window possibly?
Yeah, I think it's tape or even like a weird shade looking.
It could have been an air conditioner with the sun. It could have been like an air conditioner in it because
Yeah.
Could have been one of them. You gotta remember this is July we're talking about. So, here, they're about to take you out the basement door, so I'm going to skip ahead just a few moments. That is a bad view to skip ahead to. But here they are. So they're going to take you out the basement door over there. So, if he will hold the camera correctly, we'll see the basement door. And we're going to go out the basement door in this video. So, here they are. This is the door that is alleged. Well, if you'll point it back, they're going to walk out. This is the door Summer allegedly went out of or got taken out of by an abductor. Now, you go out. This is where Summer was taken out. She has a swing somewhere in here, I know. This is a normal country property, the outside. But she had a swing, I thought, somewhere right in here.
Is that an old school bus?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
And this is normal. We're in East Tennessee. Right there side of the house, kind of seeing that. But we went out the basement door. This is really all I'm going to show in this video because I don't know how much. We didn't contact Chris and ask him if we could show that. So, and we are going to get us back up on the screen, and then we can go back.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, if they have dogs, how would they have been notified of something? That's what I don't know. The Candace said the boys would not have heard the basement door open or shut if they had the TV up. With the volume up on the TV. So They said they wouldn't heard that, but the dog, yeah, I agree with what the chat's saying about the dogs. I agree with that. 100% agree. It's interesting. I think what going inside the house there with the interview room and Chris McDonough showed you was that the house is nasty. It is not suitable for children, and that is why the boys were taken. Most likely. Most likely.
Okay, 'cause the way I heard it was like they were taken because of the parents being suspects. I was like,
No. There is no suspect. Everyone, according to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, 2 weeks ago to News Nation Now's Brian Enton, who is now the new famous reporter because of the Gabby Petito case, Brian Enton said he came to Rogersville for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. Then he had to get to Kenosha, but that Monday and Tuesday, he interviewed Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. Lawson told him that yes, anyone and everyone is a person of interest right now. No one has been ruled out in the case. So, take with that what you want. No one has been ruled out. Brian did not show in his story the portion of the interview, but he said that Sheriff Ronnie Lawson of Hawkins County confirmed to him that the parents passed a polygraph test. But that was not shown. That part of the interview was not shown. But is it true? I mean, Brian Enton said it on live national TV. I'm going to take his word that Ronnie Lawson did say it. So again, it's...
So to kind of go off what Holmes said, that's what I had heard. That they were taken from the home because of the family being the suspects of it.
There's not a suspect because they don't know what happened to Summer. So there's not a suspect in the case. So that is not why they was taken. They was most likely taken because the home was unsuitable for kids. I mean, for children. I mean, we just saw it.
Yeah, like that. I just don't understand. Why do they live in the basement? Like, that's that's not a small house. Like, you don't. I don't know.
It's like a pretty big house, yeah.
Yeah, why do they, cause the front door, you walk in, and there's the 2 bunk beds for the boys, and then you go down to the basement, and that's Summer's and the parents' bedroom?
Dad, yeah, on different sides. It's too confusing for me to figure out why you put a 5-year-old's bedroom in the basement of your house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In a big house like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably because they had too much clutter in the other rooms. I mean, we saw it.
I'm not really one to judge someone's house, but if you can't see the floor to at least the kitchen where you eat at,
I honestly want to know where they eat at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you were like, oh, this house is a mess, and you showed that first door with the bunk beds, I was like, Skylar, do you have OCD? And then it switched the camera, and I was like...
Yeah. The first room was okay. Then you got to the other room. I mean, the first room was perfect compared to the rest of the house.
Do what, Holden?
Holland 2021. Skylar, do you have OCD?
I agree. What aren't they saying right now? Honestly, they haven't ruled anyone out, but at the same time, what aren't they saying? I agree. They know something that they aren't saying.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's normal in a police investigation.
I think this is one heck of a mystery. I think we can all agree on this. And I think it's something that we can touch on maybe next episode.
This is an episode dedicated to Summer Wells, and we've not even went an hour yet. Adam,
I felt like you were about to do a shameless plug.
Yeah, I felt like he was too.
I thought you were about to do a shameless plug.
I never do shameless plug.
And next week we have a special guest, Adam.
another special guest.
Yes, I told y'all this a good hour ago almost. Well, about 45 minutes ago.
We could have
I don't
gotten
think
her.
our viewers are liking special guests.
But what's interesting about this special guest and their connection to the Summer Wells case, they live probably 10 minutes from where Summer's parents do.
Who?
Our special guest next week.
Oh.
So, they live in the same county. So,
You just like published their like place where they live, so
everyone knows they live in Hawkins County.
Hey, Skyler, you keep up with this. How many
Everyone
subscribers
knows it.
started?
oh, I was just saying, no, I legit thought Skylar said no one knows I live in Hawkins County. I was like,
No, they do. People know. Don't worry.
How many
People know the
subscribers?
town they live in with as many photos and videos they post on Twitter.
How many subscribers did we have at the beginning of the video?
Adam said 55. I
That
thought.
last question. The
We have
last question,
57.
last one. I'm just gonna say this now. My sister had a bunk bed in her room in our last house, and they just didn't take down the bunk. So I'm just saying. I don't think.
The one bunk bed I would love to have is that bunk bed that you can sleep on the top and have like a desk on the bottom.
oh no, the ones with the little slide.
Yes, those.
I saw one. It was like a shape of a tree, and there was like this little swing, and then there was a slide. So
That'd
like
be
on
awesome
this side,
if there was a green screen behind it. Let me tell you.
I would love to have
no,
one.
it was like shaped in a tree, and there was just like there was a swing on the bottom half, then there was like staircase, and there was a slide with it too, and then on top there was a bed. That is my dream.
That is your dream, to have a playground for a bed set.
That would be awesome.
It
Like
would.
you just wake up and you slide down like.
But then you'd have to stand up off the slide.
Do what?
But then you'd have to stand up after going down the slide, which is really hard to do when you're really tired.
Alright. I'm going to do a couple of things really quick. So first of all, thanks to Kristen for coming on. And thanks to Skywatch Media, which is the media company that operates East Tennessee Skywatch and Appalachian Highlands Weather, for letting us use their awesome graphic, Amber Alert graphic that they published back in June. So thanks to Skywatch Media for letting us use the graphic. Alright. Anything else on the case that y'all want to talk about?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We've had a good number of viewers throughout the night.
I think it was a total of 8 at one
This
time.
has been a very interesting episode and very like informative.
It was.
Like I had, huh?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
thank you. Also, thank you guys for like bringing in your inputs, bringing in your questions.
Interacting in the chat, giving us your questions, so we can
We
get those
love-
answered for you.
Yeah, we love talking. We love talking to you guys on
Yes.
in the chat. It's honestly really fun. I think it brings a more fun experience
Yeah.
for us to talk to you guys. So thank you for interacting with us.
So next week's guest, I will go ahead and publicize who it is. Next Wednesday, next week, on the 15th. That's next week, right? Yes. Eli Bray, who is a big weather geek like me, operates East Tennessee Skywatch and the president of Skywatch Media. He also does a lot of photography and videography. That's what we're mainly going to talk about, though it is not impossible that me and him get into a deep weather conversation, so not ruling that one out.
He was also supposed to be our first ever guest.
Yeah, he was, and we had scheduling conflicts.
So does that mean that
And then
next
Alan became
week we have our other special guest?
Do what?
So does that mean next week we'll have our other special guest that Holland loves?
Oh. Hey, we have to give a shout out. Hold and go.
Who are we shouting at?
Quote.
Wait, what?
The person that came up to us last Wednesday and
Oh,
told us the quote.
Nelson Greenway.
Yeah, thank you. You came up to me and Holden before fifth period and told us about the quote, and so we had to shout you out. So thank you very
Yeah.
much. Holland's done out of here, and I wonder why.
Yeah, she's over the.
Quick outro from your boy Adam Mabry here. So, if you would like to like and subscribe, that would be
And
great.
we just got cut off by Adam.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Please share this with your friends.
Go
Share-
follow us on Instagram. Do we have a Snapchat?
Yeah, but we don't use it.
Okay.
Yes, we have Snapchat.
Okay, we have Snapchat.
I personally plan on using the Has-Beens podcast Instagram.
Yes.
You know, we
I'll
use the Instagram a lot that I still need to give Holden the login for it. But you see, here's the thing. I got to figure out the login before I can give it to Holden.
Okay.
I'll go back through my text and find it. So, all right.
Got it.
Thank you all very much for watching, interacting with us tonight. We will have next Wednesday, normal time of 8 o'clock with Eli. He will be joining us. We will have no weather conflicts next Wednesday, it doesn't look like, so me or him, neither one will have to be doing severe weather coverage during our 8 o'clock episode.
We will have 2 special guests next week. One will only be here for a short period of time, but the other one will stay for a larger battle.
Oh, yeah, I know.